Everything you've seen was purchased for $6 million in cash.
Seems like a pretty good deal.
It's a good deal. Yeah, I think over the years this will be called deal of the decade as we move forward in this gold environment.
Do you ever wonder what lies beneath the surface? Not your couch cushions. I'm talking about Earth's untapped treasures. Welcome to EarthLabs Expeditions, where I dig deep into the world of junior mining exploration. Grab your hard hats, folks, because this isn't your average treasure hunt. I'm Jonathan Brazo, a mechanical engineer, firefighter, avid world traveler, and a rookie junior mining investor. And full disclosure, I know next to nothing about mining. But that's the fun part. Join me as I travel the world learning the ropes of the exploration and mining industries. Together, we'll decode the secrets of the earth and reveal the potential fortunes hidden beneath our feet. So, if you're ready for a wild ride through the highs and lows of junior mining, buckle up. This is EarthLabs Expeditions. Our journey takes us from our hometown of Toronto, Ontario, over the Great Lakes, across the border to Manitoba, and onto the western edge of the Great Plains of Canada.
Welcome to Winnipeg, Manitoba, the kicking off point for our next adventure. Right behind me is the Royal Canadian Mint, and we're going to go find out where some of the gold and precious metals come from in Red Lake, Ontario. We'll be meeting with West Red Lake Gold Mines. They're going to give us a tour of the mine, and we're going to learn where the gold comes from ore to pour. Come along with us.
As we journey east, the vast open plains are quickly replaced by the wild, untamed beauty of the Canadian Shield. We leave the Manitoba flatlands behind and dive into the rugged heart of Northern Ontario.
After a 5.5-hour drive northeast from Winnipeg, we arrive here to the town of Red Lake, Ontario, in the middle of one of the most prolific gold regions in all of Canada.
Mining has been ongoing here in Red Lake for nearly 100 years, producing close to 30 million ounces of gold. At one time in the 30s, the Red Lake Airport was the busiest in the world, with the most flights per hour of any airport globally.
The interesting part about the airport here in Red Lake is that it's not your traditional airport with a runway and a terminal. This is a float plane airport. All of the materials, all of the people, the geologists, the equipment for mining in the early days in Red Lake had to come through this airport. It was all transported up here by float plane. In today's day, the Trans-Canada Highway runs very close to Red Lake, and there's another highway runs north right into Red Lake, which brings us to where we are now, today. Gold mining is still very prevalent here in Red Lake. The town has an energy to it and a lot of workers that we're going to meet as we go through this trip, and their families have been in mining for their entire lives. Join us as we meet with West Red Lake Gold, refurbishing and restarting the Madsen Mine and going into production. And let's learn all about the process, how the gold gets from ore to pour.
The trip to the Madsen Mine in the morning is less than 15 minutes by minivan. We're greeted by West Red Lake Gold CEO, Shane Williams.
How are you? Good to see you.
Great, how are you?
Welcome to West Red Lake Madsen site.
So excited to be here.
Come on and have a look around.
All right.
First things first, safety. I'm given a full site induction, trained and fitted with personal protective equipment, PPE, and invited to join the daily muster meeting, where workers and supervisors discuss operational activities and review necessary safety protocols. Safety first.
Okay, so Shane, we have obviously a very busy site here. There's lots going on. What are we going to see today?
Yeah, we're excited to have you here, Shannon. There's a lot of going on. You know, within about a year of getting the project, we've really ramped up. And you know, when you're building these mines, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort. You really got to put in the hard work. And so we have about 100 people on site now, a lot of moving vehicles, we have a lot of work ongoing. So what we're going to do is walk you through the process of how to build a mine. You're going to go see Jill. Jill is going to take you through the drilling, the drill stages, how we build the resource models. Then we're going to go underground with Sam. Sam's going to tour you around where we do the drilling, the blasting, the loading, the hauling. And then after that, we're going to bring you up to the mill where we actually make the gold. That's where it all happens. And that's the process we're going to walk through today.
Will I get to do any blasting?
No, you won't get to do any blasting.
So Sam's going to take us down into the mine. We're going to see the whole underground process. Right now, West Red Lake Gold is focused on creating the passageways and the necessary infrastructure, if you will, underground to get to the gold. We've got updated mineral resources being built and generated, so we have underground drilling and targeting going on, and the work generally on site or underground right now is focused on blasting and creating the passageways so that when the mine eventually does start up, we're into the ore body and we can start pulling out the gold-laden ore.
Our guide underground is Sam Bates, the mine's underground superintendent. We meet with Sam at the West Portal.
Sam, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Tell us a bit about what you do here and what we're going to see in this hole today.
Yeah, so I'm Sam Bates. I'm the underground superintendent. I manage everything that happens from here on in.
We've got quite a drive to get down there, is that true?
That's true, yeah. We're going to drive about 5 kilometers in total. It's only 500 meters, vertical depth,
yeah.
But by the time we ramp down to that level,
okay,
it'll be about 5 kilometers.
What do we expect to see when we get down here today?
Well, hopefully some production and some development.
All right.
Everything underground is really measured under safe development meters, right? So we're advancing a phase. We're going to see a jumbo drilling today. We're going to see that muck material and material movement handling, so scoops and trucks. See some bolting activities, ground support installation, and we'll go see some exploration too. We'll go see a diamond drill.
That's fantastic. I'm super looking forward to it.
Yeah, right on.
Let's get in that hole.
Let's do it.
All right. All right, we're heading into the Madsen portal, going underground for the first time in my life. It's so amazing that as they're drilling down and creating this mine, there's obviously a need for work sites and place to do machinery maintenance and everything. And there's all kinds of little bays that come off the side of the shaft, and there's equipment stored, there's cranes set up, you can see toolboxes and workbenches. It's a whole city and a whole factory underground here.
What do you want to know? We're looking for gold.
The mine is bustling with activity and the hum of mining equipment. Exploration and excavation run in tandem, like a well-oiled machine.
So we'll mine this shape. We'll come in, we'll know where the shape is, we'll mine this shape out,
Yeah.
and then we'll do a long hole block. So once we understand exactly what's happening, then we'll design the ramp. Does the ramp come in on the end of the ore here? Is there multiple access points?
Yeah.
What that looks like, and then we'll mine that ore out.
Amazing.
So we'll anchor the drill to the wall, and then we just started this hole.
Yeah.
We'll find the right dip that we're supposed to be on, we'll anchor it, and then we'll start drilling. And that tube, this tube that he put away,
Yeah.
it goes in and out. That's the rods stay in the hole. We pump that down with water, and we retrieve it with that wire line. That thing pumps down and it grabs it and it pulls it back out.
So this slides inside of the
Slides
one that
in-
makes the hole?
Yeah, it slides inside of these rods, and then when it hits bottom, it locks in there, and we drill our 3 meters. Then we go get it, pull it out,
Yeah.
and then we start over. So you could start at 0, your bit will make it 300-400 meters. You'll pull your rods, change your bit, put another one on, and you'll just keep going.
So this is waste. This is soapstone right here. We expected that. This is at the very beginning of the drill hole.
Yeah.
The target is deeper.
The target's deeper, right. Okay, so in 4 weeks in this location, you're gonna drill 41 holes
Pretty much it.
into that rock face.
Yeah.
Wow.
Underground drilling is an essential step in the process. Jill Chrisman explains more on exploration and how this step fits in the greater mining operation.
So I'm Jill Chrisman. I'm the chief geologist here at the site. I've been on this property for about 5 years, been in the industry for about 18 years, mainly in narrow vein gold throughout Western Canada. So here I manage a team of geologists that are in charge of both the grade control underground, so the extraction, the geology portion of the extraction of the ore underground, and then the diamond drilling, which is the first step.
How does that feed into the next step, which is of course mining?
With this type of infill drilling and this spacing, this amount of data collected, the model that data is fed into should be your guide.
Okay, and this is the model that's on your screen right behind you, right?
This is one of the models. This is more what we use in terms of design. There would be a greater life of mine model,
Yeah.
a resource model that's more encompassing, and you're going to build your infrastructure plan for the next 10, 15, 20 years on that model.
Yeah.
The definition drilling that we complete goes in, and then we have localized models around that new data.
Okay.
And as more data comes in, that model is refined further and further and further. With geological mapping, underground grade control samples, anything we can get our hands on to feed into that model. And then that is the model that would go to our engineering team, and they would design our access to the ore, they would design the blocks of ore we're going to extract and how we're going to extract them. That's the model they would use for that. So with the definition drilling, what we're really fulfilling is that we have a runway ahead of us through test mining, and when we turn on the mill and go into production, of high confidence inventory. We want to have that inventory so there's no surprises. We extract what we say we're going to extract. Everything reconciles back to the mill.
Next door at the core shack, Derek walks us through how the core samples are analyzed and converted into quantifiable ounces.
I'm Derek. I'm a production geo here, so I work underground and in the office typically, but I do come out here every now and then just to take a look, see what we're bringing up. So these rocks, the guys are drilling underground, bring them up at whatever in the shift, and these guys will lay it all out, meter mark it, go through the lithologies, put everything in the computer, so that then I can then look at it and plan some mining activities based around that.
Yeah.
And they'll also mark up for assays and send it all off to the lab so we get some numbers back, see how much gold is in each, each sample, and then see if it's feasible to then go after that and mine it.
In your opinion, how's everything looking with all the new
awesome.
exploration?
Looking awesome.
Yeah.
Got the right people in the right places, and we're doing a lot of drilling, which I think was a problem previously, so that's looking really good.
Yeah.
That's a wrap on exploration and definition drilling. On our next stop, we continue our tour underground to learn how tunnels are formed and how the ore is extracted from deep within the mine.
What is this piece of machinery that we're looking at? This thing looks wild.
This is called a jumbo. This is a two-boom hydraulic jumbo. It basically drills the holes that we fill full of explosives and blow up the rock, make it smaller.
Okay, so we're headed this way with the tunnel, essentially, right? And you're drilling in, it looks, what, maybe 3 meters at a time?
It's about 3.5 is what I've got it set to right now.
3.5, and you have a grid.
Yes.
Right, so you drill out the grid.
Yes.
And then you blast it out, then we come and haul it, and we're 3.5 meters farther down, and you just keep going.
And then we come in after we muck it out, we put ground support in, which is the screen and the bolts that you see right there, which essentially supports the rock up above us to continue on.
And you guys, when you do the blasting, you're not in the...
We're not underground at all. We're all on surface. Everything's all hooked up through electric detonators and fed through blasting cable, and we set it up on surface. So nobody is underground when we blast.
Amazing.
It's called a central blast system.
I don't see any canaries. Should I be concerned about that?
No, so these units here, we all carry them, or any pair of people.
Okay.
But anybody working independently will carry one of these. They monitor oxygen, carbon monoxide, nitrogen. We have the technology available to us, so we use it. Well, it's a huge expense, it's a huge endeavor, but you know what I mean, it's worth it. So and again, it's a lot of fun. These guys are a really good bunch.
This is a 6-yard cat scoop. We use it for moving the material that we blast.
What's the capacity of the bucket on this thing?
It's a 6-yard.
6 yards per scoop. Right on. How long does it take, or how many scoops does it take to fill one of those?
For our trucks, it's 4 buckets for the 30-tonner.
Yeah. The round trip on those, it's about an hour and a half, eh? Back to surface?
If everything goes smooth, it's an hour and a half. There's no Kubotas or Toyotas in the way.
That might have been us in the Toyota. We might have been in the way.
No.
After learning all about underground exploration, tunneling, hauling, and mucking, Sam treats us with a very rare opportunity, the chance to see naturally occurring visible gold in vein.
That's what we're here for.
As we follow the journey of the ore, it's time to head back to the surface where the operation continues. We're joined again by Shane Williams atop the historic Madsen Headframe.
This headframe and these hoist assemblies are A, massive, and B, like really impressive pieces of equipment. How do they contribute to operations of the mine?
Yeah, so another key advantage of our project is all this is in place already. You know, as I said, to build a shaft like today would be $300 million probably, $200 to $300 million. We have it already in place. It gives us a huge opportunity. But more from the long-term viability of a project, If you, deep down in an underground mine, if you have to haul trucks or material from deep in the mine all the way up the mine, it's a lot of cost. You have ventilation issues, you have a lot of challenges. It can take an hour from the bottom of a mine, sometimes to the top. So with the shaft already in place, it allows us to move material very, very quickly from the bottom of the mine to the top of the mine. And from a cost perspective, it's around $4 a ton with the shaft versus maybe $20, $25. So it makes a huge value proposition for the project and gives you a good runway for operating costs as you go forward.
Next door to the headframe, our last stop, the mill, where it's ore in, gold out.
All right, Shane, here we are in the mill, and we're getting very close to the end of our journey for the ore, and we're getting ready to pour. There is a lot going on in here. This is a very busy with equipment factory. What's happening in this building?
Yeah, so this is really the heart of the whole operation. This is where we actually take the rock, turn it into gold. So behind us you'll see these are our grinding mills, and this is actually breaks up the rock. The rock that we've seen all the way from the journey underground where they blast it, drill it, they bring it up the shaft. It goes into these big mills here, and basically they're just big giant rollers. They're full of steel balls, crush up the rock, make it into a fine powder, breaking it down into a dust format, basically. So that's the first part of it. These are very, very powerful motors. This is where the majority of it happens. And then as I go around the building, the material then is put into a liquid form, and the gold is actually floated off. You get a lot of bubbles and energy, and basically the material floats to the top with the gold, sticks to the bubbles, and basically that's creamed off, and that's your gold, basically. So a lot of different chemical processes here. This mill at the moment is permitted for about 800 tons a day. However, this mill is a big mill, as you can see. It's good scale. This can go up to 1,500 tons a day with some modifications. So we have a lot of opportunity to grow the project, make it a bigger throughput, and produce more gold.
So once you've extracted that gold from the mixture, what happens next, and how do we get the gold into these beautiful gold bars?
So it goes to what's called a refinery. So basically that molten gold basically is heated, and then it's poured into a kind of a dye, like a cast dye, and forms into those bricks, basically. So you're actually pouring bricks of gold, basically, here. It's really cool. After all that journey from underground, that rock in the ground, you actually get a solid gold bar out of this process.
Yeah, we stopped by the Royal Canadian Mint in Winnipeg, and we learned that that's one of 2 mints in Canada, actually.
Yeah, and that's where the gold will end up ultimately. And all gold in Canada goes there. There's one in Winnipeg, there's one in Ottawa. That's basically where they go, the Royal Canadian Mint. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, what an awesome full circle moment for the whole journey, you know, from where we started in Winnipeg out to Red Lake through this whole process, and we end up kind of back where we started. So
yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's fantastic.
Pretty cool.
Wow, what a tour! I learned so much about mining and what it takes to extract this precious metal from the earth and refine it into pure gold. We head back to the lodge to wrap up with Shane and talk about the future of West Red Lake Gold.
Shane, thanks for coming out, and thank you so much for everything over the past couple days. It's been incredible to tour the mine and learn what goes into a gold mine, and there's so many fascinating takeaways to get from it. Amongst them, you know, the level of effort we go to for gold is just incredible, right? Gold has this allure and this magic, right? And there's so much work that goes into it, and it was so great to go through the whole process and see all of the different equipment and the steps that go into it, and meet all of the fascinating people that are down there and through all stages of the mining operation doing the work.
Yeah, it was great to have you on board. They're still talking about it on the mine site. They're all becoming movie stars. So you've seen that in the energy enthusiasm, and I think that's an important part of the story. We've been lucky to get a great team. A lot of them are young, starting new, inexperienced, but they're learning and they're eager, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, we can really feel it. Hundreds of years of mining experience here. Zooming out from all those people, there's one person we got to get to know, and that's you.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for 25 years now, and my main background is mine building and operations. I've ended up building mines in different countries. I've built mines in Sweden. I've built mines in other parts of Canada, Quebec. I've built mines in Turkey, in Greece, lots of different countries. Wow. And I'm real. I want to do something real. I want to try and build something real, and that's how we set up the company and wanted to do that. And that's how I think real people attract real people, in a sense. Absolutely. In that when they see the energy and the passion, they want to come and do something.
It's great to see you talk about real people attracting real people. You're a very genuine guy, and some of the workers comment to us that it's awesome that you're here, and you're here a lot, and you're involved. And we saw it in the muster meeting and in your interactions with the guys. Like, you guys are close, and you talk, and they're not uncomfortable to talk to you about what's going on, and I think that's a marker of a good leader.
Yeah, I think so. And in my experience, to be successful, you really have to work with the guys on the ground. And it's a lot of time and commitment, but I'm a site guy. I love the sites. You know, I'm not a corporate office guy. I like to be with the teams, and people appreciate that. That's part of getting them motivated and energetic for the road ahead. Because look, one thing it is, building a mine is not easy, for sure. It's definitely a marathon, it's not a sprint.
Safety is certainly something that you guys take very seriously, and that's evident.
Yeah, I know safety is paramount here, and it's again comes into that culture. You know, if there's a good safety culture, there's a good culture. If there's a good culture, there's a good safety culture. They go hand in hand together, and you need to set up the systems, and you need people around that.
Like you mentioned before, you've done this before, and you've had a lot of experience building mines in a lot of different countries where work is different and processes are different. I want to know what about this project, what about West Red Lake really makes it special for you, you know, having done it so many times before?
Look, there's a kind of a model on how to build a mine. You know, there's stages to go through. But I think every different mine in different areas or different parts of the world has to be adapted. You have to adapt to the environment. And why I love West Red Lake and this region in particular, why I love the region, is the history here. The history is fantastic. And the town has been through a lot of ups and downs. And we want to, as West Red Lake, and you've heard that from the people, try to give something back to the town. You know, show them what a successful mine looks like.
Your message that you gave us at the start was, and you reiterated here, is building a mine is a lot of work. And there's a lot of steps that go into it. And it's clear to us and to myself now that you guys are doing the work. You're taking the time to do it right with the proper tools and all the modern analyses and model building, targeting, all that stuff is all in place. And there's a plan going forward. What does that plan look like for West Red Lake Gold as we move forward, say 1 to 5 years?
So I think based on that foundation that we've done, that good technical foundation, it sets the company up as a model to grow. So the objective of West Red Lake and the Madsen Mine was to start small, you know, get it right. It doesn't have to be a huge mine. Just small, get it right, get the culture right, the safety right, production right, get a good team in place, and then use that as a base to grow. So the long-term vision is to have Madsen Mine up and running would be stage one of a longer vision. And that longer vision really is to become a mid-tier producer in Canada. Amazing. Grow to 500,000, maybe to 1 million ounces a year production. Now it's going to take some time. Yeah. It's going to need to scale slowly and quickly. But I think by creating a good model here, it gives us the benchmark to move forward.
We want to bring mining to everyone, and you seem very enthusiastic about it as well. And it's that mentorship and that growth and getting everyone involved because it's very important. You know, we all know the importance of it, and I think it deserves more limelight than it gets. And that's what you do.
Way more. You look at the tech industries, you look at all those industries, and they're all important. But you know, there's very little you can do without mining in this world. You know, you can do a lot without iPhones, but you can't do much without mining. You can do a lot without mining. It's either grown or it's mined, and we do need more minerals. You have critical minerals now, electrification, etc., and you need those minerals. And unfortunately, as you've seen, there's no quick way to get those minerals. It takes the work, it takes the time, it takes the experience. So when you talk about the levels of minerals, metals we need going into the future, You just think about our small mine, how much it's going to take for us to get a small production. You think about the volume you need, and in order to do that, you need people. So we got to get young people back into the industry. We got to get them interested, loving the industry, so that we can build these mines. It takes 15 years today to build a mine. That's a long time. You know, this is like the acorn that becomes the oak tree, and that's about starting small, getting the systems right, and then growing from there. And so that's the real opportunity that I see today in the market.
Speaking of starting small, you guys got the deal of the century on this place too.
Yeah, I'm calling it deal of the decade. There was $350 million spent on it, and we got it for $6 million in cash and some shares. When you go around and you see the scale, we were in the shaft, we were in the mill, we were underground, we saw the equipment, then you really understand the sort of value proposition that we got. You know, that was the timing perspective. But as I said, that's why I said in 10 years' time, when gold is way above where it is today, people will look back at a successful mine and wonder how we managed to get it so cheap.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, here's to the continued growth in the price of gold and the continued growth of West Red Lake gold mines. We wish you all the best, and it certainly seems like you're on the right track.
Thank you very much. It's been excellent.
Thanks.
Thank you.
West Red Lake Gold is putting in the work to make this mine happen. Building a mine isn't easy. It takes a large team, it takes a lot of planning and a lot of resources to extract the gold out of the earth. West Red Lake Gold is committed to growth, not only growth of the resource, but growth of the people. They're very fortunate to be in Red Lake, where we have a prolific history of mining and a lot of years of experience. And moving forward, as we restart the Madsen Mine and start extracting gold again, the focus turns to not only growing the community, but also growing the people, the geologists of tomorrow and the miners of tomorrow. And West Red Lake has everything in place to do just that, and that is their focus. Growing this thing, getting that gold, and elevating the community and elevating mining as a whole. Meeting with the team this week, it's easy to see that the culture is ingrained from top to bottom. Safety is paramount, growth is paramount, and doing the right thing. And they're doing it, everyone's on board, and everyone wants to move this thing forward. And there you have it. This is a gold mine from ore to pour. Follow along with West Red Lake, because it certainly doesn't stop here. This is just the beginning.